guys, Chris from Microsoft here with another quick episode of Let's Tech. So in today's episode we're going to be prepping for another one that I'm going to be doing. I want to do a performance episode for Active Directory to troubleshoot some typical issues that I've seen with a lot of customers on problems that they have with AD. But I started realizing I needed a whole lot of users in AD to do that. So what I've done to prepare for that is I've got a whole bunch of test user accounts, and I thought we'd do a quick Let's Tech episode on how to get all of these people into the directory so that we can use it. So we've got, I think I should have about 30,000, about 30,000 user accounts. Here are some people's, if you're interested, some people's addresses, their names, their first names, their email addresses, their passwords. Oh, but I'm just kidding. These are all randomly generated. I actually use this neat little tool that I just found called Fake Name Generator, and it's a free utility, and it's here at fakenamegenerator.com. Order in bulk. You can pick what you want to have your CSV to have in it, and so you can have lots of different attributes that you could bring down. So what I want to do is import this into AD, and in typical Let's Tech fashion, we will be doing this on the fly. I haven't pre-practiced and pre-staged this. I just want to get this stuff into my directory, and we're going to mess up, and we're going to fight it, and we're going to make this work. So what we need to do, though, in order to import this into the directory is get this CSV file into a format that AD can read. So first off, we need to match up some of these names here, or these titles rather, the column headers, as things that the directory can understand. So we need to match those values up. We could use a hash table in PowerShell, but as most of you know, I'm not really super good at PowerShell, so I just thought I'd take some attributes that we know and match those up with what is in the directory, and that's the easiest way to make this work. So for instance, I'm sitting here on my user account for 9Z, and I'm in the attribute editor tab, which if you're not familiar with that, you don't always have to use ADSI edit. You just need to go view and then go into advanced features, and once you've done that, you can see the attribute tab and see this stuff. So for instance, attribute C for short name value of the country. I could come over here to the value that would match up to that, which should be in here somewhere, and maybe I don't have that field. I've got a state, I've got a middle initial. Let's just start with country full, which we know to be CO right here, so I'm going to change the name of this to CO. And given name, that's a name you're given, obviously. For me, that's going to be Chris, and given name already matches, so we'll just leave that alone. Surname is obviously your last name, so for finding my surname here in the attribute editor, I'll just kind of come down until I see Davis and figure out what it is that Active Directory thinks of as my surname value, and that right there is SN, so we're going to change that to SN. There's obviously a title, which we could assume would be about the same, and sure enough, in my case, Big Daddy, as in Big Daddy 9Z, as most of you guys know for the YouTube channel, is my title. But they were talking about something a little different here when they did titles, and so titles for them are like Misters and Mrs. Titles for mine come from Active Directory's what is your actual title where you work. So that's going to be is that? I can't remember where title is. It's kind of like a common thing you find in the directory. So it's in here, organization, under the job title. So maybe that's not something we want to keep here, Mr. and Mrs. So if we go back to the general tab, you'll see I don't have a Mr. Miss type thing. It is possible to do that, it's just not in there, so I might think, okay, well that's not something I necessarily want on here. So street address does exist, and in my case I had mine as 123 Anywhere Street, and under attribute editor we'll see that that's street address, all in one word, street address. That's going to work. Middle initial, so mine is M, so let's see if we can find the M, just past it, initials, INITIALS, so that's going to be like that. We don't have a gender in Active Directory, so we'll go ahead and dump that one too. And city, state, zip. So mine should be OKC. This is Oklahoma City, which is where I be. So let's find an OKC value here. And there it is. Physical delivery office name. That's a bit much for me to write out because I'm lazy, so I'm just going to copy that and put it here. And then state, I would assume, would be in the S's. ST, so we'll make that ST. And then zip code. Do I even have a zip code? Did I put a zip code in? Let's see in the general address tab. I do have a zip code, so let's go find that. Probably in the P's for something like postal. Yeah, there it is, postal code. So we'll go ahead and copy that, continuing my laziness here. And then email address. There it is. Mail, easy enough. And then username is a little bit different, because we need to populate something that the directory can understand. So here we have the UPN value of Chris at 9z.local, and then the pre-logon name as Chris, which comes out down here in SAM account name, as you can see, is SAM account name. But there's another very important one we're going to have in here for us to be able to do this, which is the UPN, so the user principal name, which is not something that got really added in here. So we're going to want to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and utilize what was in the field for username right there. So when we import that in, it comes over well. So we'll go ahead, since we know username works for SAM account name, we'll go ahead and make a copy of this, and then we'll insert copied cells, so we keep both, and we'll call this once again SAM account name. But then we need the user principal name also, and that's going to have a UPN value that makes sense to the drop down. I mean, it doesn't have to, you can shove one in there, but it typically is going to be an @ something. It doesn't have to be when you're doing this through PowerShell, match up with something in the GUI. You obviously can add other UPN values in here for that, but we can cover that in another section. So in order for me to do this, I think I can come through here and do a kind of a tricky thing. I'd hate to have to do this and destroy my notepad. I don't know how well my memory utilization is going to be here, but we're going to go at 9z.local, and then oh yeah, it wants the it's going to want me to append that. That might cause us a little bit of a problem. But let's say that we want to get that copied all the way down. Oh, can't do it that way. I have to do it this way. All the way down, 30,000 records. I'll go ahead and pause the video for a second and cut that part out. Or actually, come to think of it, I could just do a copy and then slide all the way down. I'm not a super duper Excel user, but I think I can kind of do that. So now we've got all these in two different values using Excel without having to jump out. And I could have done this for my UPN values, but yeah, I don't really want to clutter up the directory with a whole lot of fake UPN values. So here's a little trick we'll use, and we'll go through and we'll copy all this, and then we'll dump it into Nope. and my video recording app crashed. So continuing where we left off, so what we're going to do here, and I just did everything because I didn't realize my video recording app had crashed. Apparently whenever the UAC pops up, it kills this thing's ability to continue recording. So anyway, we've got this tab space mess going on here, so we're going to do a Control C, Control H, Control V, replace all, and what we wind up with now is a whole lot of well, UPN values that look like email addresses, right? Okay, so we're going to Control A, Control X, close Notepad, go in here, dump those values, kill this column, and there we go, we got UPNs. And if we were to go all the way down to the end here and look at the UPN values, you'll notice that all the way down, UPN matches up to the same account name. So I'm not going to use passwords because originally I had planned on having the passwords in here and doing an import, but just because I don't want to have a whole lot of active user accounts, and if you do give AD password, you can actually active the account. We don't want to do that, so close this. Actually, I needed that up. Wish I hadn't closed that. We'll come back to it. Telephone number, pretty sure is, yep, that's a matching value. And then company also, I believe, can make it. So there we go. All right, so now we have an importable value, and we will go ahead and save this spreadsheet. And then I'm going to come over and this thing, I think it was in delete me right here, and fake name generator, our new CSV version of this. We'll put this in this directory, and there we go. Alright, so we've got a nice handy dandy CSV. We don't have Office on the server, so we have matched up values. So if all goes well, you can see we've already done a import module. Let me zoom in here. So for those of you who don't do a whole lot of PowerShell, we've got an import module, Active Directory. Not entirely necessary if you're on PowerShell 3 or beyond, but once you get to that point, import module, Active Directory isn't necessary, but right now it still is. So what we are looking at here is, let's see, why are we not typing? There we go. A CSV file, you can see it's a little different now because we've gone and modified it somewhat. So we want to go ahead and import that value. So I'm going to import CSV, and then we're going to do fake name generator, tab to complete, and then we're going to pipe that into a new AD user, new AD user, and then we're going to do a path statement, and we're going to set that to an OU. I'm going to grab down here to one of the OUs that I've previously generated, and we're going to look at this business users, and let's put these people all, we're going to have a giant 30,000 person sales team here, so we're going to dump everyone into the OU sales. I could split this up and make it kind of better, so for making it easier to copy and paste stuff, I'm just going to copy this DN here, and then we'll jump back to the PowerShell and pop that into the path. So now we should have the path for where we want to put these guys, and then I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need to do. Just import CSV and then new AD user, and let me zoom back out a little bit so I can make sure we're looking at that. So we got the new AD user piece. Yeah, that should do it. Let's see what happens. Alright, yeah, not good. We got 30,000 errors coming up. Let's start Control C, and make it stop the pain. A good advice I get from some of the folks who write the PowerShell guides, they always tell you to turn that to green so you feel better about yourself. So let's see what it says. Alright, so let's zoom in. The input object can't be found to match any parameters to the command, either because the command does not take pipeline input or the input and its properties do not match any of the parameters that take pipeline input. Okay, so basically what we've got here is it's saying that it can't match up the, well, which part is it upset about? So maybe, perhaps we just don't have all of the required attributes is the issue. So we look at, where's my account? Did it go away? I guess I already closed it. Let's see with, just kind of run through my head, what are some of the required attributes to be able to get there? You know, one thing you can always do is get help. Add AD user, and maybe we can see from the ADUS8 tab to complete, maybe not. Oh, that's not add AD user, that's why. It's new AD user. And I'm shouting now with my caps lock on. Oh lordy lord. USE. There we go. Alright, so let's see if, no, just show me the basic help. Oh, well, right there, name. I don't think we had a, well, let's look. Did we have a name string in here? Given name. And surname, but we don't actually have a name value. So that could be what it is. So we could just cheat and copy the given name, but who wants to do that, right? Let's make these people look real in the directory. So let's see, I'm going on the theory that we need a name column in our CSV, and then we'll use our little notepad trick here and dump that in. Now these are going to come across with tabs, so just like before, Control-C, Control-H, Control-V, but instead of replacing it with nothing, we'll replace it with a space. There we go. So now we have a first and last name that we can use in our name column, and then save that. Okay, we're going to do save as this time. Just make sure we're not getting any funky formatting into this thing. So yeah, looks like it defaulted to Unicode text. That also could have been our problem. So let's do this as a exchange comma separated value, and let's see, comma delimited. That's probably the best one right there. And we'll do that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I want to get rid of that formatting. Alright, then let's grab this new one here, get it actually out to the server instead, and see if we have any better luck with this, and if not, I may go troubleshoot it a different way. Let's see if I got... Alright, so we need to... that and see if we get any closer. Once again, dumping this into the sales OU and see if we get... Alright, so the red that's coming through right now is a count that already exists. I had paused for a moment and then I attempted to just do a shorter version with nothing but about a dozen or so users, or 100, something like that. Went ahead and put those in there. which is what led me to believe that I might have actually had a different CSV format. So we're getting UPN value provided is not unique forest-wide, which means I've got a few overlapping UPN values. So we had 100 couldn't be created because we'd already created, because we'd already done kind of a quick little CSV import, and now we're getting a bunch of UPNs are not unique. And we should, however, be getting users into that sales OU. Yeah, so as you can see, we're now getting way beyond what we can do. So now we've got 9,000 items. So we definitely had a couple of duplicate UPN values, just because probably we had some of these usernames that were given to us were from that site may have not been completely unique, which is fine by me, because I'm actually whole bunch of users in, which of course was the intended purpose here. So even though we're getting quite a few that are failing, so I'll show you another little trick here. Rather than me using AD to try and see how many folks are in there, since we know where the users are going, let's go import AMPORT import module. I'll learn to do this better. Module Active Directory. And since we do know what the DN is here, go ahead and grab the distinguished name of that location so that I can quickly cheat and paste it in there. And then what we could do is something simpler like get AD user filter and everything, and then like a search base, and then dump it to that OU, and then select name. But what we're also going to do is we'll put this command, which gets all the users in that, into a variable. So we'll go sales, get all the AD users in that, and as soon as it finishes running through that command, we should be able to get an idea of how many actual users there are. Of course, while it's doing the import, it's going to be slow because this is a virtual machine. But so here's the trick. So I could do sales.count. Count is 9,067 items. So we're definitely getting some folks in there. Looks like we didn't have as much uniqueness in the UPN value as we were really hoping, but from this I can get tons and tons of users. Yeah, I may have to go and get rid of all of the unique UPN values here if I wanted to get more, but realistically, if I get 10,000 people in sales, fix it, put another 10,000 people into different OU, and then I have multiple OUs, which is even more realistic, which is what I'm wanting to do for the purpose of our next video, which is going to be troubleshooting performance in Active Directory. We're going to want users spread out around different places with different values and stuff. So this is actually going to be probably for the best that I have to troubleshoot this and grab a couple of extra people from the same search base there. So that'll be good. So anyway, we've definitely gotten close to 10,000 users so far into AD, all with not just like user 1, user 2, user 3, as a lot of the code out there we find. I'm going to be a lot more usable with this, because when we do the searches on people's names with wildcards around them, I can actually get real looking users returned to me, so that'll be kind of neat. Yeah. Okay, so I think I can be happy with that. So anyway, guys, this has been Chris with Microsoft. as always, thanks a bunch for watching. If you did find anything about this useful, please give it a quick like and feel free to subscribe to my channel. Also, my blog is at 9z.com. It's real easy to remember. It's just the last number and then the last letter .com. That's also got links to my Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Anyway, so again, thanks for listening. I sure do appreciate it. I'll see you guys at the next episode.